This is Carlton Fitzpatrick of Romulus Technologies, Brunswick, Georgia, United States of America. And the purpose of this rather short video is to demonstrate the Ilea Bangkok student registration database. Prior to the demonstration, let me make a couple of suggestions. First of all, you are of course under no obligation to use or even view this database, but I suggest that you go through this rather short video and also look at the actual demonstration program that is the address of which is made available to you in the accompanying email. And the reason I suggest this is that because I have substantial experience creating, developing, training applications, I have a pretty good idea of what works and what doesn't work. And I don't know how much thought you've given to a registration database, but if you decide to contract the development of this application to someone locally, perusal of this material will give you a good idea of some things that you might like to include in your contract and maybe some things that you don't care for. I will further state that this application was developed without any interface or discussion with Ilea Bangkok and is solely my idea of what a good student registration database would look like. That's unfortunate because no doubt as you go through here you'll find some things that you wish were in there that are not, or some things that are in here that you have no need for. But again, by perusing them you'll get a better idea of what the ideal application for your purposes may be. With that said, let's have a view of this database. And I'm not going to go into the minutia of all the different things. It really is a rather sophisticated application. I just want to cover the high spots. Now, if you want to pursue this further and consider applying this to your own office in Bangkok, I can provide more detailed videos as an instruction. Normally, after I develop an application, I will sit down with the users and spend an hour or two or three or whatever is necessary to make sure they're familiar with the program. But since we don't have that luxury, you being quite literally a world away, I'll make that kind of training, if it's appropriate and necessary, available to you through a series of videos such as this. Okay, let's get started. The first thing you'll notice is this is a computer desktop and there is an icon for the Ilea registration database. This is a desktop icon that points to a Microsoft Access database. By double-clicking it, first a splash screen comes up and is displayed while the application loads. Everything works off of a main menu. There's only 6 selections, so it's not that complicated. And there's a customized access toolbar. I have added those things that you would find appropriate while you're using this application, and I've taken away that string of gobbledygook that serves to complicate matters and things that you won't need. Like all access toolbars, this can be hidden in the background by double-clicking the title and brought back to the foreground by double-clicking. And there you have it. Let's get started. The menu has 6 options. They are more or less rated according to what I feel would be most commonly used, with the foremost being managing student data. When I click on this, a individual screen comes up with each student's name and information about that student. Now, for this demonstration database, I have 18 student records, and they combine specific data about the individual, a photograph of the individual that you can use or not use discretionarily, and it is also linked to the training course/sessions tables where there will be a display of all of the training sessions already registered or perhaps completed by this particular individual. The record navigation toolbar at the bottom allows you to go through record by record by record, and you can see certain individuals have had more training classes than others. You can also filter data. Excuse me. I can filter on a particular country. If I wanted to only look at the students from Laos, for instance, I can bring those up, and they comprise 6 records in my demonstration database. And I can remove that filter, go back to the entire data set, either by clicking on this little filtered icon at the bottom or the command remove filter here. And but let's do another, and we can also find a student. All students are listed here, and they're listed alphabetically by control name. And I can bring up anyone, just any single record, just by clicking on it. Now, let me point out something else. The student number in this record is a number assigned by Ilea. And I don't know if you use student numbers or not, but it's there in case you want to use it. I use the convention of control name, first name, and other name, realizing that in various cultures around the world, different types of naming conventions are used. I use control name instead of last name, first name, and other name. For certain individuals, specifically for those from China and perhaps other client countries, their formal name would be the control name first, and if that is the case, there's a little button that one can push here. Mr. Lao Jai Kang is his certificate name would be control name first. If that's not the case, if I go to some other country, and by default it'll be the first name first and the control name last. So this makes the preparation of graduation certificates maybe a little bit easier. But another thing that I can point out, let me do a filter on the country. I'll filter my Chinese students, is the opportunity to look at all of the records at one time. You'll see there are a couple of icons up here. This one says data sheet view. When I click on it, the filtered data will appear on the screen in a spreadsheet format. And I can even click on this little Excel button that's up in the quick access toolbar. And excuse me just a minute. I have a frog in my throat. And this would take this data and convert it into an Excel record that you can save or print or manipulate. I will inform you that Access and Excel play very well together. It's very easy to take Excel records and convert them to an Access database and vice versa. You can also do this same thing if you have written reports. You can capture them and save them as Excel data tables, data files. Specifically what this comes in, where this comes in handy, I can pick a record that I like, let's say a student Zhang, select it by clicking this little button on the right, go back to the view and form view and bring that particular individual's record up. I'll also point out that by default every record is locked when it is displayed. I cannot accidentally make any changes to any record here. I cannot delete this record. Before I do anything, I have to click the Edit Record button. This unlocks it. Now I can go in and make editorial changes, add comments, add phone numbers, whatever. So that's a quick overview of the student tables. There's some other information in here that we can discuss further if it becomes appropriate to do so. I always include in every form a close form button that will take you back to the previous menu. There are 6 written reports that are available by menu, and you begin that process by clicking Generate Reports. By clicking the down arrow here, you have access to any of those reports. I add that you can implement other reports and quickly and rather easily integrate them into this application. These are just quick and down and dirty reports. A selected session report, and I will find the acronym and the session number and generate a report to see all the students in there, the dates, the coordinator, the count of students, and the count of any withdrawals. If a student had withdrawn, there would be an X in this particular column here. When a report is displayed on the screen, I can click on the print preview button and I can print the report. I can do any number of things, export it to Excel, make a PDF file, email it to someone, any number of things. I choose to close it at this time and look at the second report, which is a report of all sessions. I'll start a series of dates for this one. I want all of my sessions that are run between January 1st and, let's see, April 30th of 2013. And when I generate the report, these are the sessions that I have run with their dates, with their students, and a listing of the training coordinator. And again, because it's a report, I can print it or close it or do any of several other options. A list of all withdrawals is available. There's no time limit. This would just, quite frankly, print out everybody that has withdrawn. I can look at all my courses, and these are the acronym, the course name, and any relevant comments that may be a part of that particular course record. I can have a report of a selected coordinator. If I'm a manager and I want to know who's carrying their weight and who's not, this may be one indicator. Juanita Adams, for instance, has coordinated one training session in this particular demo package, and there's the session course as well as the inclusive dates of the training. And the last one is just a report of students from a selected country. If I want to see all of my students, for instance, from Laos, I have that particular report available to me. Again, with my print preview toolbar here, I can do any number of things with it. So those are the reports. Again, reports can be added, and any of these reports can be modified as appropriate. The third option on our main menu is a look at the courses. There's nothing much here to the courses. This is just the courses that you teach with an acronym, a formal course name, and any relevant comments. Again, records are locked, and I can make modifications by simply editing, clicking this edit button. I can add courses simply by going to the navigation bar at the bottom of the form. All of our forms, virtually all of our forms, have navigation bars. I can go first, last, next, previous, and there will always be one for a new record. And if I wanted to create a new course, I would simply just click a new record. I can also go up here and click the new record icon on the records toolbar. After the courses, there are sessions. These are actual training iterations, and as you can see, and I think they're sorted by date, start date, but the acronym of the course and session number, the inclusive dates, who coordinated it, and certain comments if they are appropriate. I can do quite a bit here. I can add a session here, or I can add a session, I guess maybe for some reason you can't add it here. If you want to add a session, you have to do it here. I can view a roster for the selected session. If I wanted to know who was in Advanced Hostage Negotiations 201, I would select it by clicking on the selection button to the left and click View Roster. The roster comes up with some pertinent information, and I can print the roster, which is the same report that you saw previously. I can also generate graduation certificates, and this, of course, would probably have to be modified. This is my selection of fonts, colors, sizes, and position on the form. This would no doubt have to be modified, but when it comes up, I can again go to Print Preview, click on Print, and I can print them one at a time, or just stuff my printer full of blank certificates and print them all at one time. So that's the session report. Excuse me. I can close this and go back. I can also withdraw a student from any program just by clicking on the program and withdraw a registered student. Select it for whatever reason. Find the name of all the students registered to that one course, select it, add a reason, and once these three boxes are filled out, click on Withdraw. Or if I change my mind or click the wrong button, I can simply abort the operation. You want to terminate with southbound. So there's all kinds of little confirmation messages throughout this application. So that is the sessions portion or sub-portion of this application. The following two selections in the main menu, this one is simply a list of countries that will be available from a drop-down menu in several areas of the application. And I can also enter the staff. This is fictitious information because I don't know who your staff is, but I would put their names in here, and their names would be included as a drop-down menu when appropriate. That is a quick down and dirty overview of this application. And there's a little notice here on the bottom right of the form. This is the licensing usage, basically giving Bangkok, Ilea, authorization to do anything they want to with this, share it amongst themselves, and do just about anything except sharing it with someone outside of Ilea Bangkok. And that's for reasons that we won't get into here. There are several ways of running this application. As you're looking at it, it is a single file available to a single person. A more appropriate use, in my opinion, would be to split this into what we call a client-server application, where the data would be maintained on a central server somewhere. The users would all have access to the menus, and multiple people can use it either at the same time, at different times, but certainly from different locations, each user using this from their own office. That's one option. Another option would be if you have a large database, such as Microsoft SQL, for instance, or Oracle. The data can be used in that very large database with just the visual part, the user interface, available to all users. This could be discussed, and there's a right answer for everyone. But again, this application is offered to Ilea Bangkok without any fees or expectation of fees. Minor changes can be made gratis. Major changes would negotiate. But I will point out my credentials. I've spent 42 years in government service, including 4 years in the U.S. Marine Corps, a portion of that spent in Southeast Asia. I have spent years in U.S. Treasury, U.S. Justice, with the final 6 years of my career as an instructor with Homeland Security at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. And I also have just finished a 3-year IT contract with the Department of Homeland Security, and frankly I miss writing computer applications, and so I'm tossing this out there for you to use as you see fit. In the accompanying email there is an email for me, a return address for me, as well as addresses on the internet where you can find the entirety of this file, as well as a runtime file without all of this dummy data ready for you to install and start running. One other thing before I say goodbye: if you have a mountain of Excel data would fit very, very neatly into this and very quickly by someone who knows what they're doing, so you don't have to duplicate data entry to fill out your several thousands of records here. But I am available. I would look forward to assisting you, but again, please feel free to consider there are no strings attached to this. This is yours to do with or not do with as you see fit. Again, Carlton Fitzpatrick, Romulus Technologies in Glenn County, Georgia, wishing you a good day.